All right, guys, we just got done watching episode 3, Daredevil Born Again. We're going to give spoiler-free. This one was a pretty Matt Murdock episode. We'll go spoiler-free, and I'll let you know before we get into spoilers. That way you can click off if you haven't watched yet. But we got some – the ending was crazy. We're going to break it down at the end, and we're going to give some more, like, nerdy insight than most people might or whatever, and then what we think's really going on. Jim, give us your thoughts. Give us a spoiler-free review on what you rate it. It starts off courtroom. Actually,
Hang on, I got to differentiate between what we actually started watching.
Yeah, I actually started Daredevil season 3 instead of Born Again.
Mad confused for like 5 minutes, like what's going on.
So the episode starts off pretty much Matt washing his hands off.
That's
because we see Kingpin talking to his wife pretty much, and then we get a close up of his knuckles being bruised, and then we get Matt washing his hands, and the guys that he fought,
they're not dead.
Yeah.
Which there was some confusion about that. They're definitely not dead because the guy catches Matt in the
the bathroom.
Well, we're not gonna go into details yet. All right, that sounds weird. Guy catches Matt in the bathroom.
Matt Lowe would like that.
All right, it was mostly courtroom.
Yeah, it's mostly a courtroom drama this season. So we go back to the White Tiger case, and then we're kind of trying to break it down. Matt's being the defendant.
All things considered, with the stuff we saw from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze, but it's not working its way up. That's crazy.
Wait, I'm trying to keep you from sneezing.
I'd give it an 8.
An 8.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, just because like they're so.
Did you feel tension and drama in the courtroom scenes?
Yes.
Okay.
And I made the comment when we were watching it. That's how you do a lawyer show.
Yeah.
Like I
have a concern about it. I'll mention it a little bit.
That had as such little action in it. That like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. This is a very. No action episode?
At the lowest, I would go 7.5.
No action this episode? I'm trying to remember.
No, there's no fights.
Yeah, so this is heavy on the courtroom drama. This is White Tiger's case. That's what this episode is. And Matt's going back and forth as the defendant. Right. And it's a really, I think, well done.
I don't think there were any fights.
Courtroom drama. I don't think so either.
There were some high suspense moments.
Yeah, and we got very little Kingpin this episode.
Yes.
There was some we'll talk about at the end and stuff like that in a little bit. But other than him starting off and then reacting to the court outcome for the case, that's pretty much all we see in this episode. So it's heavy on
we
Matt.
all knew how that was going to go because they've been the foreshadowing for that wasn't really foreshadowing because obviously he's trying to win the police and he's this anti-vigilante and so.
And one thing I like about this episode is you can see in the court case, and again, props to Charlie Cox, the turmoil they have when they bring up certain evidence in the case that Matt has with his past life and stuff like that. So you're just seeing more like the police are here to do the job. We don't need masked vigilantes such as like Daredevil and all them because they mentioned stuff like that in the previous episodes. And you see him just kind of like almost rolling his eyes, but also like he's like, you're kind of right. And they're like, why would Daredevil need to wear a mask anyways? And stuff like that. And then he's just like, you got a point, but he's also like, well, I'm doing some good. You guys can't. But it is interesting. And the courtroom drama, you've got the two guys that tried to beat him up in the last episode. They come back. Some of them are defendants.
I only saw the one. I didn't see the other guy.
Yeah, I only saw the one.
But yeah. Are we still doing non-spoiler?
Yeah, well, one more thing, non-spoiler, because again, and then it's pretty much part of the case, is Matt trying to get his witness on the stands as well.
Yep.
So he's struggling with that, hoping his witness pulls through, hoping the defendant goes good, hoping his case is able for the jury. And the other lawyer is good as well. Like, he pleads his case, and you're kind of like, dude's got a point. Like, he does have a point, and you're kind of like, I don't know which way I'd go in the jury. And there is good tension. This is what I wanted from She-Hulk.
Yeah,
right? Like,
that we didn't get.
Yeah.
We got a lighthearted comedy.
Which we didn't need. Had She-Hulk done this, it would have been better and higher rated.
Yep.
But they just, the She-Hulk was just garbage. But
Trash.
So this, I do enjoy the Matt Murdock drama. You have so little aura.
Stupid wall. Put a hole in this wall.
But then after that, are we getting too much Matt Murdock and not enough Daredevil?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Because like
you think people are going to say that? I agree.
I think people are going to say that 100%.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the title. I've said this every time we talked about it. Daredevil Born Again, and it shows you like, do I want to see Daredevil absolutely like destroy some thugs?
More fight scenes.
Yes, like I want to see him just like brutalize these thugs.
Yeah.
But Daredevil is such a beloved character. There's a reason they brought Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. Like, this is not going to be the only time. We get 9 episodes. We're 3 in. This is not going to be the only time we see him. He's going to show up on the big screen. We're going to get that brutalized, like, Daredevil.
I hope so.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got another season of it. Like,
I think they're already shooting season 2.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, take the story building now, because you're going to save yourself so much time over the long haul. Because, again, they took this show from Netflix and they're building it their way. Even though, like, it's a continuation, like, they are building the stepping stones for how they want this show in their world to be.
Yep.
Let them do it now.
It's what
I guarantee we get Daredevil before the season finale. Like,
you think we're getting Daredevil next episode?
No.
So that's where people are going to have the problem.
I think
we're halfway through and we've got maybe 4 minutes of Daredevil.
Let's jump into talking about the details.
And I agree. I don't think we're going to see him.
The reason I don't think we're going to see him, I think we might see him either the next episode or the episode after because of the ending of this episode. But I don't think that it's next episode. I think next episode is going to be the last episode where we see Matt kind of hanging on to, let's call it his humanity, we'll say, because that's obviously how he's fighting with this, like his humanity versus his dark side. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get one more episode of him fighting with it because, like you said, during the courtroom, like when they're talking about stuff, you see him like twinging and like making. Yeah,
you could see him like
he's fighting with himself.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think we get it next episode. And if we do, it's
at the
right before the end credits. You see him perched up.
I think that somewhere. Or putting the mask on, something like that at the end,
or pulling the suit out. Like, I don't think you see him doing anything as Daredevil.
I think one thing I did like, some people. I don't really care about the new love interest.
Yeah, you said that.
I could care less. I'm glad there's very little of her in this episode. You see her a little bit, but when she's on screen, I'm just like, it doesn't really matter.
I don't mind it.
I'm just like,
I don't really see a problem with it.
I don't mind
it. I think it's adding up it's a perfect soft spot for Daredevil.
I think I'm gonna give this episode. I'm in the same boat as you, a 7.5 or an 8.
I think 7.5 is probably as low as I would go. Yeah. Because even though it has such little tension, and like I said when we rated the one episodes, I gave like the one like a 6.5 or something.
Yeah. I think I'm going 7.5 for this episode. 7.5.
There are slower episodes where it's just like I am hooked the entire time, and the story building's there. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the courtroom scene.
Yep.
I love the.
It is a big part of Matt. It is a big part of
Daredevil. When the guy caught Matt in the bathroom. And he was like, oh, you don't need to wear the glasses inside. And he's like, oh, are you talking to me? I'm blind.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, a blind guy that can fight. And it's because it's the cop that he roughed up in the apartment,
Yeah, that guy lost so much aura from that.
So, yeah.
But, okay, so that wraps up, I think, spoiler-free. I don't think we can go any more into it spoiler-free without diving into spoilers.
I thought we were doing details. That's why I asked.
No, that's fine. That wasn't really like... So now we're diving into spoilers. If you haven't watched it yet, if you want to watch it, that's fine. If not, we'll break down... Again, it's spoilers. So, yeah, it started, that guy approaches Matt in the bathroom and it's pretty much like, you don't have to wear those glasses like you mentioned. And then, because that's the guy he beat up. And he's like, so a blind guy that can fight. And then the courtroom kicks off and we have White Tiger on the stands and the police are all back in the police. And you hear the guy whisper, he's like, we can't let the witness get on stage and testify.
Which they already, from the last episode, they pulled him off. They had him in like a safe house type thing.
Yeah.
They got him the witness. Didn't quite go. Before we get there.
Are you going to talk about the van?
Yes. Yeah. The absolute turnaround that they
Love
had.
That.
Because it's like his, the guy
that worked
Matt
the bar
calls him like his hatchet man.
Yeah.
It's like the ex-cop that like gets him all of his details that's been working for him for a while.
Yep.
They show him and some other dude in a suit who I didn't recognize, but they
like an Asian guy, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember who that was.
But they get the witness in a van, and then they start driving, and obviously the cops are doing everything they can to stop this witness from showing up. And
in fact, the guy that beat up Matt pulls up to the van as well, and they stop him with the police escort.
Tells him to get out, open up the back of the van, and the ex-cop shows him the badge and whatever, and they open it up, and no one's back there, and then out comes the taxi, the witness, and the other hookup. And they come rolling in. He testifies. Doesn't go the way we think.
Yeah, so Matt asks him the question. And then he's like, have you ever been like a criminal informant for the police? That's
by the way, I think this show does courtroom a lot better than She-Hulk. But I don't know. For people, I don't even want to say I watch a lot of courtroom shows, but like I think general knowledge is that you can't just straight up ask stuff like that in the courtroom because then you get like objected for like leading the witness. Like that's the whole point is you're supposed to ask questions. But he straight up, I said it when we were watching it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's leading the witness because he just straight up asked him like, were you an informant for X and X cop? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think you can do that. Like,
and the guy does say yes. He's like, yeah. And then he's like, how far away from you from this train station or wherever? And he's like, I'm not that far. How often are you there? I'm there quite a bit. Were you there the night of New Year's Eve when the attack happened? And he waits a minute, goes back and forth, and he just goes, I was home alone.
Yeah. Like
So Matt gets heated.
You could see him getting the like pressure from the cops. Like he looks over, he's looking at all the cops. He kind of like shrivels in his chair and he starts like avoiding eye contact. And that's when he was like, nope, I was home all night.
And then Matt is like pretty heated.
Pissed.
He's like, you said you, and then he's like, and they're like, order in the court, both of you in my. Oh no, he doesn't call them into his office.
No, not yet.
And then Matt pretty much comes back and he's like, there's only one more option we have. We have to put the defendant on the stands, which is White Tiger.
He withdraws his witness, so he's technically like scrubbed from the records or whatever. I think that's how that works. But
and then what does Matt do?
They put Hector on the stand and he's like asking him like his side of the story. He tells it. And he was like, that's because you're a good person, right? And because he kept like his answer was, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And he's like, yeah, because you're a hero, right? And he was like, I don't understand. And he was like, it's not the first time you've done something like this.
And you can see he knows. Hector knows where this is going.
Matt didn't tell anyone about it. And then, after like going on and on about how he puts himself in danger for other people, rips out the White Tiger mask, which my
defendant is White Tiger.
I don't know if we talked about it, but in episode 2, Matt, I think we did.
Yeah.
When he specifically found out that he was White Tiger, he went and he got it scrubbed so either the defense and the prosecutor could not pull it up. And so, like, he kind of, like, saved that for himself. Not that he planned on doing it, but it was the last card they had was to appeal to him being a hero for the public.
Matt pretty much goes through testimony and testimony and testimony of people saved by White Tiger. And he's like, does this sound like the kind of man who would throw someone else in front of a train?
Right,
and
who would initially start a fight with cops.
Yeah, did these people ever tell you they're cops? Not until the one was in front of the train.
Pulled up police reports talking about how White Tiger helped them. And
and then the other guy made a pretty good case. He was like, good people do bad things. And he was like, if he was really this good, why would he even need to wear a mask? And that's where you see turmoil with Matt, where he's like, man, like, dude's got a point, and then he's also like just thinking about it and stuff like that. And then the jury comes back, and they're like, first-degree murder, not guilty. Second-degree murder, not guilty. Third-degree murder, not guilty. And Matt, this is key. Matt tells him, manslaughter. Matt tells him, he's like, after this, your days of White Tiger are over.
Yeah, he said this a little earlier in the episode. He was like, just so you know, like, you can't go back to that.
Yeah.
So, and then, he gets cleared.
Yeah.
And then sure as, the sun rises, he's suiting up as White Tiger. And,
bro's aura forming on the streets for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, bro's just walking down the sidewalk dressed as White Tiger. I said that too. I was like, what's going on? Like, that's what he does? He just walks around the streets like that? Like, right down the road. Not even like back alleys or anything. Just walking down the sidewalk. And, he hears some noises, kind of sounds like a girl squealing or whatever. He starts running. There's some
He has his amulet. He has full suit, full amulet on.
Yeah, the background is Wilson Fisk talking about the court case.
Because what Wilson Fisk asked, he asked for a BB report to come back to his office. And he starts recording an interview with her where he's pretty much like, I made a promise that I'm running on No More Vigilantes.
He said it was maljustice.
And I'm gonna uphold this. And he's also tying towards the police to try and still get their vote.
100%.
Like 100% of this. And he's like, I'm gonna keep that promise or whatever. So it pans back to White Tiger running to help someone. He stops for a minute. Someone pulls a gun right next to his head and blows his brains out. Like one taps the man. That amulet sucks. That amulet is awful.
So the amulet just increases like physical abilities.
I would hope it would increase some other senses.
I think it just increases physical abilities. But yeah, there's a dude in a robe sitting behind the corner. He's wearing a vest with the Punisher skull painted on it, and just pop drops.
Body just drops.
We're gonna talk about because you asked me.
I said Because they don't show the face. They show the Punisher logo. He walks towards screen. It ends. Another amazing cliffhanger.
Yep.
And I go, is this Punisher or not?
I said no.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. Now, I would fully accept if I'm wrong, because so the way I look at it, right, is we've seen all these cops in the courtroom when you're seeing the case go back and forth. The one cop that leans over and talks about not letting him get on the stand, he's got a Punisher tat right here.
Yeah, the other one
There's
had someone on his
the
hand.
wrist, like however many more. Are these cops that formed a little subcult, or they're working with Frank, and it's like, what's the deal? We don't know the relationship. So it's like, it's one of those things.
I think it's more of an they
idolize
him thing.
Right. But so if that's what you think, right, hear me out. If they're just idolizing him, why would that be actual Punisher? Unless that is his organization. He's got guys on the inside, and one of his own got capped, and he doesn't think whatever. But again, so Matt and Frank, I wouldn't say they're the best of friends, but they know each other. Obviously, they have different idealizations
they both
on how
get
things
why
get
each other
done.
do what they do.
So, with that being said, I feel like with their history, if Matt set someone free, regardless of if he was in that cult or not, like, I feel like there would have to be some type of sensible, like, okay, maybe something deeper is going on here, rather than Frank Castle just murking someone who Matt Murdock, and it's publicized on the news, just set free, And I could be wrong. There might be, maybe there's something going on where he's like, oh, I got to protect my own.
So here's my two things. I think Matt in this show asks Frank Castle for help at one point. I feel like I remember seeing that in the trailer, or they meet up. So it could. Here's another problem as well. Is Matt going to feel guilt for releasing the information about him being White Tiger? Then he still goes out and gets killed.
Right.
So then there's
100%.
that.
Even though he told him not to, he's 100% going to feel guilt.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to get some backlash from the family because he did that.
And here's why it could be Punisher. I don't think so. I don't think Wilson Fisk reached out to the Punisher.
No.
And was like, yo, I need you to do this.
No, but I love the way that that's set up, because Fisk is talking. I don't think Fisk had anything to do with this. I think he made a comment, and he was like, 100%. I don't think he had anything to do with this. And I could be wrong, but I think this was just poor time stuff, because you have to look at it. He's trying to build his empire as the mayor without criminality, right? Even though obviously he's doing some shady stuff on the side, he's trying to make it seem as clean as possible.
Yeah.
There is nothing clean about how he's saying how he's going to take care of it. And then let's say the murder gets, like, everyone knows about it because he just walked away. He left the body there. So White Tiger's dead on the street. Someone's going to find that body. It's kind of fishy for him to say, we're going to take care of it, and then he goes and murks the guy.
But did he take care of a cop killer so no one cares?
I don't think that's the case, because everyone was overjoyed, and that's exactly why the jury let him go, right? So, or the body gets taken care of, and White Tiger's missing.
Yeah.
Rather than publicly saying, hey, I'm going to take care of this, and not publicly taking care of it. I think we start off next episode with White Tiger. They know he's dead. I don't think Fisk did this, and I think there's going to be backlash for him doing it, because he made a note publicly saying that he did it when he didn't. So now he's got to prove that he's not doing this criminally, but he's going to find the killer.
So then I think there's a chance we see Punisher next episode from the point of where Matt gets information who killed White Tiger, and then they're like, all we seen was just someone with a skull on their chest.
Right.
And then I think I would assume Matt still has tabs
probably
on Frank, and then he goes and meets him, and he's like, I thought we were done with all this. And then Frank has no idea what's going on. And then they realized that was like, because the cops weren't happy with him being set free.
Right.
So a cop dressed up as a Punisher with the chest and the plate and everything.
Because there's obviously some type of idolization going on.
So then I think, and then Punisher's like, who are these people dressed up as me? And I think he's mad, which is when he comes in to like help Matt and stuff like that. And we still don't have the villain of the show yet. Muse has not been seen.
You say and that. I understand Muse is going to be in the show, but I still think Kingpin is the main villain of the show.
Really? What? I just don't.
I think they're going for longevity here, and I think Kingpin's going to be the villain. I think Muse might be a big baddie that gets Daredevil to act, because regardless of the fact that that is how Kingpin has always operated. That is who Kingpin is.
He's a string puller.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is not supposed to be the one up front fighting with Daredevil. There's
I
plenty
agree.
of times that he gets in fist fights because he's
I think
supposed
even
to
in the
have
series,
that insane strength.
Yeah.
And yes, even in the series. But that his persona is shut up. His persona is pulling the strings. He has people do their dirty work. So yes, I think when Muse pops up, I don't think Muse is technically should be classified as the main villain. I think he's going to be a weapon for Fisk to use.
I get what you're saying.
I think he's probably going to be the ones that throws hands with Daredevil and he starts tugging on
And
Daredevil.
I think it's one of Fisk's bodyguards. I think that's my early guess.
Well, that's the thing.
Him.
That guy was in the main series.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so positive about that.
Okay. That's my guess right now. I'm still gonna stick with it. I could be completely wrong.
That scene with him meeting with the gangster heads and whatnot, like there's a scene similar like that to in Daredevil where like he goes and does the dirty work, and that same thing. It was like the Albanian or whatever. And he was like, I'm gonna talk to the head. I don't want his like second string man or whatever, that type thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that was supposed to be a head nod, because I vividly remember a scene like that.
Okay.
Like early on in the show.
The only reason I would think it also wouldn't be him if I'm going both ways. Did you watch the show Wednesday? There was a guy in there that was cast. I think his name's like Tyler or something in the show. But I feel like I read somewhere that maybe he was cast as Muse. And I haven't seen him yet. So I don't know if that was a rumor casting or not. But that would be the only reason I wouldn't think it was him. But up until this point, I think that the guy I mentioned before would be Muse, if not that guy from Wednesday, who I haven't seen. But because Muse is pretty corrupt. For those of you that don't know, like,
about Muse.
I mean, he pretty much murders people and then like paints paintings with their blood and like mails it to people. He like hangs them upside down so they drip free of their blood. Nice. So he would be good for a dark, gritty, like Daredevil show like this. But I don't think we see Daredevil next episode. If it's not very, very end of it. I think we definitely get Frank Castle mentioned next episode. I feel like
something 100%. Even if he doesn't show up on screen, there's definitely something about him that comes up because of the fact that it's hard to think that Matt's not going to find out about White Tiger dying,
because all the police were pretty upset. I mean, with the results, at least a good portion of them, they were like, they wanted the guy dead. They tried to kill him 2 or 3 times already. The witness. So then they're like, we're just gonna take him and just bullet to the brain and dead. Yeah. So it is kind of crazy that they threw White Tiger in this show.
They did.
They did it to Foggy.
They have a knack for this.
I just wouldn't think like that. The amulet may go to his niece or whatever.
Right.
We'll see. We didn't see enough of her to even understand that. I could
see it being set up for something later down the line.
Yeah.
Maybe not in Daredevil, but
Yeah, so it was a really good court drama episode. Next week, I don't know what all next week's episode's going to entail. Obviously, him finding out and maybe going to a castle, but I don't feel like that's enough.
If they jump right to it.
Yeah.
He could find out and it could get put on the back burner for now.
Yeah. And then
because obviously this built some tension between Fisk and Matt, because, Matt just released a vigilante who he knows Fisk is against, but is Fisk going to do anything about it knowing Matt's real identity?
And Fisk has already said, if you put on that mask again and you step out of line, we will be there to stop you. So he's like, and any other vigilantes. And then Matt's also said, if you step out of line, like, I'll be there to stop you as well. So they're like, is this the line?
Yeah.
And is he going to...
Because he's still a lawyer. He's doing his job. And he didn't know about the White Tiger thing until after, but Fisk doesn't know that. So. Yeah.
So there is a lot of, like, interesting elements and stuff going on. And I'm still intrigued. Like, I can't wait for next week's episode.
I'm here for
it. Like, it's the best thing Disney has dropped in a while. It's the best thing Marvel has dropped in a while.
100%.
Like, I'd rather watch this. I'd rather re-watch these episodes than go watch Captain America in theaters. I'm being serious.
Did you watch it yet?
No. There's like 0 good reviews. Normally I make my own opinion, but like,
we gotta watch it soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of what else. We went over predictions for next week's episode. I think Castle gets mentioned. I think Daredevil at the very, very end of some type of mask on, opening a suitcase, pulling it out, something like that. And I think we start to get Muse mentioned as well. That's episode 4. We'll be halfway through.
Right.
There's only 9?
Yeah.
So we've gotta kick up the Daredevil action soon.
I find it hard to believe that they go the whole series without him turning into Daredevil. Like, I do find a hard time believing that. So, we'll see.
I don't think I have anything else. Let us know you guys' thoughts in the comments about, like, who you think Muse is. Do we think Castle shot him at the end or no? Do we think it's lackeys? Do we think this is going to cause drama between Fisk and Matt and everything? Like, if Fisk didn't hire the guy and Matt hears the tape and then he finds out White Tiger is dead, is Matt really going to believe?
Right, that Fisk didn't do it. And then that's where you're going to start getting these two going at each other's throats.
Yeah. And then that's where, like, some other stuff is just going to happen. And then Castle comes back. I think Castle's going to be on Matt's side for this whole show. I don't ever see him really siding with Kingpin for anything.
Oh, no, not at all. But, I mean, I don't know if I'd say on his side.
Yeah. No, yeah. On his side, probably.
He could be like a chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see John Bernthal come back. I can't lie. Their chemistry is good.
It is.
Like, you know the scene, this was kind of off topic, but Green Goblin and Spider-Man on the rooftop in Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. When he's
I love that monologue, and then I love Frank Castle's with Charlie Cox's monologue on the roof and stuff as well. Those are both just great, and I don't know, I can't wait. Let us know you guys' thoughts in the comments. You got anything else, Jim?
No, I got it. That's pretty much it.
That wraps up the review. That wraps up the pod. We'll keep you guys up to date, and don't forget to follow because we got that Sadie Sink casting, and when they officially say who she is as Jean Grey.
You're incredible.